Just imagine for a moment, what if you had a secret power? A power so sharp that you could read people's minds, understand their emotions, predict their decisions, and know exactly what drives their behavior. Your boss, your friends, complete strangers, even your crush. What if you could influence the way they respond to you? And let me tell you something, this is not just fantasy. This is psychology, pure psychology. The same psychology that powerful leaders, influencers, negotiators, and manipulators have studied and used for years to shape the behavior of others, often without those people even realizing it. And in today's video, you are going to discover some of the darkest and most powerful psychological tools that can transform you from an ordinary person into someone who understands influence at a much deeper level. But before we begin, let me give you one warning. This video is created for educational purposes only. Do not use these ideas to harm, deceive, or exploit people, because once you understand what I'm about to show you, you will never look at the world the same way again. So let's begin. Trick number 1, the reverse trap. Human beings are naturally drawn toward the very thing they are told not to do. That is a simple truth of psychology. And if you understand this truth deeply, you can guide people's behavior without forcing them directly. Think about it. If someone tells you, "Don't turn around," what happens? Your mind instantly wants to turn around. If someone says, "Don't watch this video," suddenly your curiosity wakes up and tells you, "Wait, what's in it?" And before you know it, you click. That is the power of the reverse trap. It is a psychological game where you never directly tell someone what to do, yet they end up doing exactly what you wanted. For example, imagine you want your friend to help you with a difficult task. If you go to them directly and ask, they might refuse. But if you say, "There was something I needed help with, but never mind, it's probably too difficult for you anyway," now the game changes. Their ego gets triggered, and suddenly they want to prove you wrong. So they do the task, not because you forced them, but because their own mind pushed them into it. That is the hidden power of the reverse trap. You didn't order them. You challenged their identity, and in trying to defend it, they walked right into your influence. Trick number 2, the master of choice. Most people believe they make decisions freely, but that is not entirely true. In reality, people usually choose from the options placed in front of them, and the person who designs those options often controls the outcome. Power is not always in forcing people. Sometimes, real power is in framing their choices. Let's make it simple. Imagine you want your friend to go out with you. If you ask, "Do you want to come with me?" they can easily say no. But if you ask, "Do you want to go to Pizza Hut or Domino's?" everything changes. Now the decision is no longer whether they will go or not. The only decision is where they will go. The result stays the same. They are still going with you, and yet, in their mind, it feels like they made the choice themselves. That is the master of choice. This is the same technique used by politicians, marketers, and giant brands. Buy one, get one free, 50% off. It feels like you are choosing the best option, but in both cases, you are still being moved toward the same result. You are buying. People do not always want unlimited freedom. They want the feeling of control. They want their ego to feel safe. And if you can control the frame of the options, you can influence the final decision. Trick number 3, the guilt trigger. Guilt is one of the strongest emotions in human psychology. People often resist pressure. They resist commands. They resist force. But when guilt enters the mind, people begin to move on their own. Imagine you have a friend who keeps promising to meet you, but breaks that promise every single time. If you go to them and say, "You never make time for me," they may become defensive and pull away even more. But if you say, "I understand that you're busy, but if I truly mattered in your life, maybe you would have made a little time for me," now something shifts. That sentence creates an emotional mirror, and in that mirror, the other person sees their own failure. They feel the weight of guilt. They begin to believe they have hurt you, and because of that, they are more likely to reconnect, apologize, and try to repair the relationship. That is the real power of guilt. Not pressure, not force, just an emotion strong enough to make someone act from within. Trick number 4, the emotional hijack. Most human beings do not make decisions based purely on logic. They make decisions based on emotion, and then later use logic to justify them. And if someone can take control of emotion, they can influence the mind behind the decision. That is what I call the emotional hijack. This happens when a person is trapped inside fear, love, anger, pride, guilt, or excitement. In those moments, they do not respond to reality clearly. They respond to feeling. Think about a politician giving a speech. They do not just present facts. They awaken fear. They trigger anger. They stir up pride. And once people are emotionally connected, their decisions begin to move in the direction of those feelings. That is emotional influence. Sometimes all it takes is 1 second of emotion to make a person choose something they may regret later. But by then, the game is already over. If you want to understand how influence works, you must understand emotion first. Because people may forget what was said. They may forget the logic, but they never forget how someone made them feel. Trick number 5, the power of silence. Psychology teaches us something very powerful. Silence is not weakness. Silence is power. Think about this. Maybe you have experienced it before. You made a mistake. You were tense. Your mother scolded you with words. But when your father looked at you and said nothing, that silence felt more terrifying than all the shouting in the world. Why? Because when someone says nothing, your own mind starts filling the silence with fear, guilt, doubt, and tension. And often, what your mind creates is far more intense than anything words could have done. People think the strongest person in the room is the one who talks the most. But in many situations, real power belongs to the one who listens, observes, and stays calm. When you remain silent, the other person becomes uncomfortable. Their fear rises. Their guilt rises. Their anxiety rises. And within that silence, your presence becomes heavier. Let's say you want someone to reveal the truth. If you directly demand, "Tell me everything honestly," they may resist. But if you calmly say, "I already know everything," and then go silent, the pressure begins. The longer you remain silent, the more their own mind starts working against them. And often, they begin revealing the truth on their own. Or imagine you are in an argument. Instead of shouting, instead of defending yourself endlessly, just hold eye contact and remain calm. Maybe even allow a slight smile. Suddenly, the other person starts hearing their own words differently. Their confidence begins to shake. They start doubting the strength of their own argument. That is the power of silence. Silence gives weight to your presence. When everyone is rushing to speak, the quiet person becomes unforgettable. If you want people to feel your importance, speak less, observe more. And once you understand these psychological tools, you begin to see how influence really works. Not through noise, not through force, but through emotion, perception, silence, and timing. If today's video helped you and gave you new knowledge, then don't forget to like and share it. Thank you for watching till the end.